Hey everyone and welcome. First of all, sorry for not posting too many projects, but this video is going to be really awesome. So this should be the UI which you should be looking for in making this game. If you are not aware of 2048, you should check out our first tutorial which we created. So this one has the basic of this game and it's even live at this place. But the problem here is that this is not animated. So this does the calculation for us, but it's not an animated version of it. So I thought of creating something which is more animated, and this is what we ended up with. So this the original game was something like this, and it's just like a replica of it. So this was the original game created by Gabriel, or I don't exactly remember the last name of him. But yeah, this is pretty cool. The animation looks like as if you are shifting the blocks, and the challenge was about how do you do the animation in React. So we are going to look into it in just a bit. Okay, so before we start the project, I would like to give credit to two people because of whom I was inspired by making this to make this project, and the other person is because of whom I was able to make this project. So first person is this guy, and you might totally resemble the UI because it's exactly the same. This game I saw and I was really inspired by it. I was not able to sleep. I wanted to make this this project at any cost. So that's the reason I decided to make a project, and at the same time I decided to share it with you all. Okay, so it's the same thing which you have seen already in our page, but this is from this person, Romain Cousin. So you should definitely go ahead and check out his motion graphic designer, and this is really awesome. Thank you very much, Romain. And the second person because of whom this project is finally happening is because of this guy, Ivan. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but yeah. Okay, so he made this project like 7 years ago, and this was the simplest project I saw. I found a lot of other tutorials out there, but this was one of the simplest which I could find. The only thing was that this was in prototype, it was more function based. I changed it to just classes, and that's it. So every logic which he had was just perfect. So we are going to just simply use that particular logic and have an app based on it. So you can think of it more of an API. You are just provided with it. You can just pass in some functions and create some magic out of it. Okay, so in order to start, you will need a starter pack, because this is what I have created in order to give you all the GIF, also this particular logic. I don't want you to copy and paste this particular logic. So that's the reason I created a starter pack. All you need to do is just to go to bit.ly/2048 starter pack, and this will redirect you to a Google Drive, and all you simply need to do is download this particular zip file. And inside of this zip you'll find a few things. Okay, so it will be named as 1 for you because I'm downloading it for the second time. So okay, so there are a couple of things here. CSS, which is you won't be using this at all. We are going to be using SCSS, so SASS, right? So that's what we'll be using, and I'll tell you why as well. Other thing is about the helper function which we have here. So this is the same logic which Ivan had. It's just like class based. And the other thing is about the images, or we can even say GIF. So this is the starter pack you will need to have in your project in order to make this beautiful design. Okay, so that's it for this introduction and credits. I'll see you in just a bit. Okay, so in order to create a project, we'll first start with creating a React boilerplate with create React app. So in order to do that, we'll just simply type in npx create react app, and now we'll type in the app name. So for us, we'll type 2048 animated, and this is for YouTube, so I'll just type it YT. All right, so we'll just keep it spinning, and it might take a minute or two. And in the background, we have the starter pack, which has the CSS, helper, and image. I'll show you how to simply place it in a location. Okay, so this might take a little while, so we'll just have to be patient with that. Awesome. So it is created now. I'll simply go into the project, cd 2048, animated for YouTube, and yarn start. And that's it. That's all we need to do. Let me go ahead and even open it in VS Code. So in order to do that, I'll just go to 2048 animated YT, and for Mac the command to open directly in VS Code is called code and dot. In Windows, I'm not entirely sure, but you can give it in the description below. So here we have this project in VS Code. Perfect. So I'll just close this. Welcome. And the SRC has all the boilerplate which we don't necessarily need at the moment. So what I'm going to do here is to simply delete this, move it to trash, and we need to create our new SRC having index in it. Okay, there you go. Alright, so in this SRC, there is some issue because SRC, and now there's going to be a file index.js, and here import React from React, import React DOM from React DOM, and constant app return to h1 2048 react dom dot render app. Where exactly do we need to render is going to be document dot get element by id, and the id is root. So this is the exact same steps which we did by deleting that src, but this is, we have more control over it. We don't use any of the other files which we don't need. Okay, so if I refresh this, it should give me just 2048. So this means that we have our basics set up here. Now if we go into our helper functions, so that's the starter pack, what I want you to do here is to simply drop it inside your SRC. So helper function you can copy and you can paste it right here. Let's see if it was copied. Most probably it was not. Let me see, try again. Alright, so let's just drag and drop here. What is the error? Add folder, nope, copy folder. Perfect. Helper is gone. CSS is something which I want here, but I don't want it as a folder. Instead, in my SRC, because it's not too complicated, or it's not even that complicated that we need to manage it, so it's a small folder or file to be precise. So we just need like main and styles, that's it. The other thing which I want to import is the images, right? So in order to import the images, In my src I'll have a folder called assets. Where is it? Assets and image img. That's what I had named it. So okay, I'll call it not a folder file, but it's a folder. So, and folder is going to be in src assets, and inside of assets there are going to be these images. So just drag and drop. Perfect. All we need to here do is that just rename this images to img, and this should do the trick for us. Okay, so first of all, let me go ahead and import both the css, main.scss, import. I'll show you what exactly is in these two files, but at the moment we don't necessarily need to see it. We'll just simply do the import. Alright, perfect. So it says you cannot resolve because the thing is that we cannot find main. It's not main, it's slash index. You go one out and you go inside and main says. Perfect. This looks good to me at the moment. Let's see. There are other issues. We cannot find this module, so yarn add says. Let's see if this does the trick for us. Perfect. Seems like something did happen. They cannot find a module. Let me just stop the server and restart it. There might be other issues which we need to figure out, so let's see. The body should be kind of purple or violet, something like that. Okay, perfect. So we don't have something else again, so cannot resolve clear. Oh, okay, so I forgot to give this as well. So in order to handle this, what we just need to do is you know what, you will be able to find it in that particular link, but I'm just importing it from my original location. So clear, let me search it. Let's see. Okay, I do have it here, so I'm just going to copy and paste it, or instead I'll have to do something like this. Great, so let's go ahead in Google Chrome, check if it is there. Cannot resolve. Okay, it's right there, so maybe I'll just have to restart it. Perfect, so there you go. We have this nice looking background, and we don't necessarily need this, but of course SAS has been applied. So that's the goal of this particular section, and I'll see you in just a bit. Alright, so till now we have seen we just have an index component. What we need to have here is different components for board, tile, and cells, and etc. Right? So first of all, I'm going to create a folder called components. Components, and in this component I'll have one main board component, board.js. So this is going to handle the complete logic of our application. Alright, so rf react functional arrow functional component export. This is just a shortcut to create this whole boilerplate. And inside of this I'll be creating two other components which I'll separate it later. So, or I can even, you know what, we can even do it right now. So I'll just create cell.js, which is just to handle the placeholder. It's not the tile, but it's the cell, the back side of it. So cell is going to be this, like dark one, and this we'll call it a tile. Okay, so in order for our cell, it's going to be the same thing: react arrow functional component export cell. Perfect. And board is going to be the same thing here. This is the board which is going to have the complete logic of the application. So okay, and the most important part here is the tile, which is going to handle the tile.js, which is going to handle the moments and everything of a particular cell, not a cell but a like one block. Okay, so again the same thing, react arrow function component export, and we have tile here. In the board I need to do a couple of things. So import tile from tile, and the same thing, import cell from cell. Perfect. So we are not using it at the moment, but we'll use it in just a bit. Alright, so first of all, let me show you the helper function from which we'll be importing. So this is the helper function. Let's completely understand. We won't be going too deep into it. You already have this piece of code, and even we have Ivan's GitHub repository which you can refer to. So basically what this has is like two classes. One is tile and one is board. That's it. And we are simply exporting the board class because this board has different tiles in it. It has different methods to handle different manipulations. Let's look into tile first. Tile has its own value, which current row it is in, which column, current column, the previous row and previous column. So this is something which handles the CSS transitions. It goes from the old row to the new row and old column to the new column. So that's the reason we have four different, or we can say two different row column pair. Mark for deletion is something which is going to be like, okay, if it's a mark for deletion, it's just supposed to disappear, and that's the reason we have mark for deletion. Merged into, kind of the same thing, but here it's, if it is merged into, you should display the new block, right? For example, here all right, so in this one, if I press left, this should merge into this one, and from this particular cell a new tile should pop up, right? There should be an animation. Boom, we have four. There you go. So that's the reason we have merged into. Okay, perfect. An ID is just to handle the state, or we can say the key of that particular cell. All right, so there are different methods to this class, which is move to, it just changes based on what the input is new, it just returns true or false. Has moved, the same thing, returns true or false based on this logic. So this is something which you can refer to, right? And this is the most important part, board. So this has the number of tiles in it, the number of cells in it, so which cells are, or the which placeholders are there. What is score is something which I have added, which is I'm not sure you will be able to find in Ivan's code, but score is something which I wanted to keep track of, so that's the reason I added this. Size is just for the size of the board. Probability is just like how often 4 should show up. So this is more like 10% of the time 4 should show up, the rest of the time it should be 2. So this delta x delta y is for gestures. If you do on the screen like swipe up, swipe left, here we won't be doing it, but you'll be getting this in your homework task. All right, and we are adding tiles to it. We are adding two random tiles. We just set the positions and set who won and who lost. There are several methods to it which you should definitely refer to. Adding a tile, move left or right, or it's just going to be move left because there's a logic behind it. This rotate left, you just rotate the whole array and then you manipulate it. So this is a different approach, and I should tell you that you should refer it, because it took me a while to get used to this particular way of doing. Before, you might have seen in my video that I did in a different approach, but this is more of a class based, and how you do the calculation, it's a bit different. But there's nothing, it's not too difficult, it's not rocket science, so you'll be able to grasp it. Okay, clearing the old tile, so you can just refer it, and just let me know if you face any difficulty. Just let me know in the comment section below, and we'll be more than happy to help you. Okay, so this is just for the helper function, and let's go ahead and inside of our board we'll just simply call a state, which is going to be constant board and set board. And here what I'll do is I'll set it to a new board. So use state, this is going to be auto imported. So in case if you don't see the use state, if you see this error use state is undefined, you simply have to import it. Okay, so here I'll have new board, and which I haven't imported yet, most probably because, okay, so it's import. Oh, my bad, because here there is board, and that's the reason we cannot have a board. So I'll have a board view here instead of board, and import board. Let's see if, okay, perfect. So see, it's auto imported from helper. There you go. Okay, so let's go ahead and check what do we have in our board. So JSON stringify board. Let's see, go back to the code and refresh it. We have, okay, it's because we haven't just displayed it yet. So in order to display it on the index page, I'll simply just do a board view, right? And you should see some garbage here, or probably not even that. So you attempted to import .helper which falls outside. Okay, that's our bad. It should be in src. We moved it here, and now we just simply need to save it, and you might see some garbage. You won't, it doesn't make sense to have this, but just want to make sure. Perfect. So this is the classes. So basically this is what is taking care of all the transitions, not just the transitions, but even the placement. Okay, so let's go ahead and start placing those boxes here. Okay, so perfect. We have a JSON on the screen, and now we need to make more sense out of this JSON. So in order to do that, we need to have cells as well as tile. So we need to basically have a complete board here. So first of all, what we are going to do is create a constant which is called cells, and this is going to have board dot cells dot map. So basically we are mapping all the columns and the individual cells here. So first component row index, and inside of this, so I'm going to return div. Inside of this, I'll just return row dot map, and again the same thing, column index, and again return cell. So we already have imported cell, so we are just returning it. And in order to display it on the screen, I'll just simply do cells. So let's see what exactly is going to happen when we display cell. So you'll just have those dark looking blocks without the tile here. So it's just gonna be like the backdrop boxes, and nothing else is gonna work. For example, the moments and those things, they won't work. So let's take a look. Let's save it. And perfect. So this is what we were expecting. We have the cell. So before I told you that there are going to be two components. One is cell, which shows the location or the holes and the tiles on top of it. So there will be another component which is going to be tiles. Constant tiles, and here it's going to be the same thing. So board dot tiles dot filter. The reason why we do filter, I'll show you in just a bit. So tile dot value is not equal to 0. So in this case, this is filter is just going to provide us all the tiles which doesn't have a value 0. So that means it should not be empty. And what else are we going to do? We are just going to map through it and tile, and we'll have a index to it. Okay, and it might get a bit cluttered, so let me minimize that bar. And what I need to display here is just a tile component. So return tile, and that should do the trick. So let's see what we did here. Make it a bit bigger. So first of all, we render through the board. Board has the tiles component. In the tiles, we filter it and check all the values which are not equal to 0, because tile is something we care about which doesn't have 0, right? If it's 0, it's just going to look like this. If it doesn't have 0, it's going to look something like this, right? Okay, so we are just returning those components and we're just displaying it on the screen. Of course, we are passing the tile inside of this tile just to make more sense out of what exactly that particular tile is or what interactions it might do. Okay, so at the moment we are not worried about it. So I'll just simply display tiles and that should do the trick for us, but still again it won't be working, but we would have something. Let's see. Okay, so each child will take care of it, but if I inspect, let's go ahead and check. There are all these cells. There's no tile here because no tile is being rendered in the tile component. Where is the tile? We haven't displayed anything. So hello, if I just simply do this, something might be rendered, right? So now what this tile is supposed to do is it's gonna come on top of these. So why do we have two? Because we are in the helper function, we are displaying like two random tiles initially. So in the constructor, anything you have in constructor, this is something which is going to happen at the first place. So it's displaying two items initially. As you can see here, if I restart the game, I have two items. So you can imagine hello, hello as like those two tiles. Now we are going to work on the tile component. Alright, so this is the place where all the magic happens. So whenever this component has been displayed, we want to add particular classes to it. Here I'll give you an example which are the classes which we care about. One is tile, which is going to be in basic every time. There is another one which is tile and there's going to be a number. So that number could be 2, 4, it could be 2048. So those are the numbers. Other thing which I care about the most here is about the positioning. So the class name will be position and there will be a number here. There will be underscore and what exactly other number is to. So position, I'll show you in the SAS so you get a better idea. Styles. So it goes from position row to column. That's what it is. And this is a different thing, but this means that it goes from, it's at this position of row and this position of column. Okay, so that's third one. Fourth one is about where exactly this row is coming from. For example, if it has moved from somewhere, it's going to have row from number to number. So and so. It's coming from row number this to row number this. Number 5 is column from number to number. So which column is coming from? Because this is going to help us reposition it through CSS. Okay, so those are the things. Another important part is moving. So this makes sure that this particular chunk or block is moving. So after it's been moved, it could either disappear or something can just come on top of it. Other than this is one important thing, which is, I guess, new or merged. Yeah, there are two things, new and it is merged. So new is something when it pops up, it's going to come out something like this, right? So new, it should randomly display and it doesn't have any effect. But when you merge it, it has an effect. For example, you might see here, it's going to come from inside. So scale is 0 and scale to 1, something like this. So this nice effect, it comes because of this particular merge class. And if I have to show you how exactly that's happening, I can show you here. Merged, display is none, is moving, is okay. And when we have a new tile, it comes from 0 to 1. So that's what happens, because when it's merged, what happens is that the previous one goes away and the new one pops up. So that's the reason we have, okay, that was new, not on merged. Merge, it kind of maybe is disappearing. Yeah, perfect. So merge, if you merge it, it's going to disappear, but new is going to show up in a like a tile, like a scale 0 to scale 1. Okay, sounds good now. And with this, classes will start making an array of class. So not a constant, but let class array will start with every component. Every tile is going to have a tile component, tile class. Second, what we do here is that class array dot push tile plus tile dot value. So this tile is supposed to have a tile as prop, and that's the reason we added here, right? So now we can have tile dot value, which is going to be the value, and we are just pushing it to the array. Next thing we are doing is that if tile is not merged into, so tile dot merged into, if this doesn't exist, class array dot push, and we'll have position. Instead of this, I'll just simply use position tile dot row, and the same thing, tile dot column. Okay, where is it? It's here. Okay. The next thing what I need to do is that if tile dot merge into class array dot push merged. Next thing is tile, if it's new, is new. So what we do here is that class array dot push new to it if what else has moved. Okay, so we do tile dot has moved. So these are all the helper functions which you are able to find it in this helper, right? There's nothing new, and that's the reason I keep telling that please refer to what exactly is in this helper function, because that's a place where all the logical magic is happening. Okay, so class array dot push, And what exactly are we pushing here? So it's like a row from and title dot from row, and this is supposed to be a variable, and that's the reason it has to go into the dollar brackets. It's not title, it's tile. And from and to, again a variable, so tile dot from, or should be to row. Okay, one thing, I guess I made a mistake, but I didn't. Okay, there's an underscore here. Okay, so that's good for this row at least. Second thing is about column. So from column and to column, perfect. And what else? If, oh, okay, even has move is supposed to have array dot push is moving. Okay, what else do we have here? We have another one is that push title. So class name, where did we get this one from? Okay, if class, no, sorry, class array dot push title and tile, I'll simply use the back, it's not a backslash, tilde, yeah, tilde. Okay, it's called title. I don't know why I keep calling it title. It's style dot value, but the problem here is that we are doing it twice here, so we don't necessarily need to do it here because we already did it here. Okay, perfect. So simply we don't need to have a div here. We can have a span class name equals to classes, but more importantly, let classes equals to class array dot join by a space. Perfect, sounds good to me. Let's see what happens. We go here, cannot read property value of undefined because we might have used the title somewhere. Let's see. Okay, we don't have any title here. Oh, okay, perfect, because we haven't passed in the tile equals to tile. Perfect, looks good to me at the moment. Perfect, we have whatever we were looking for, but it's just a bit misaligned. We are going to take care of it in just a bit. Okay, so the reason behind this displacement is that we haven't assigned a board class to the parent. So I'm going to simply have another div, and I'll place the cells and tiles inside of it. And first of all, let me save it. And this class name will be board, and see what happens. Perfect, so everything is in place, and the reason why this happens is because board has certain width and height to it, and based on that, these cells, they are positioned absolute, and this board is positioned relative, so it kind of falls into place. Okay, so second thing is that about the each child should have a unique key. So in order to take care of it, wherever we do a map, we got to have a key to it. Key is going to be index, same thing goes here. Key is going to have a column index. Perfect, but just to make things a bit like different, because if you have column index, the key might be duplicates, right? So here we'll have row index into board dot size, plus index column, right? So at least we have a unique, what we can say, unique key for a cell. Okay, so this thing sounds good to me, and let's see. So we still have a unique thing. There's probably should be one more thing: key, row, index. Let's see. Okay, so perfect. The key thing is taken care of. Now what we need to do here is that, still again, this is just a dumb component. So what we need to do here is to make changes to the board on direction changes. So how are we going to handle it is that we'll be creating a different hook. And before mentioning about hook, why do we need this is whenever we press left, right, top or bottom arrow on the screen, it should handle an event, or there should be an event occurring, right? And that event will be taken care of by our hook. Okay, so now instead of first creating that function, we are going to create a hook here. So hooks, and it's going to be, or I should say, hook should start with use, right? And that's the reason we'll call it use event.js. And what this use event should do, first of all, it should import use effect from React, and this is basically we are attaching an event to the windows, and whenever we call, it's going to have a variable function. So whenever a key is being pressed, it's supposed to call this event or this hook. Okay, so export default, and we'll call it function use effect, or sorry, event, and it will have, first it will have event. What exactly event is happening? So it could be click, it could be key down, or whatever, right? So handler, and third thing will be passive, and by default it will be false. All right, and just simply have window dot add event listener, event handler passive, and when we return it, so return function cleanup, and this will have window dot add, I should say remove event listener, event handler passive. Perfect. So this is what we have at the moment. Let's see. Oh, one thing I forgot to do here is that it's not just going to be a simple function, but a use effect function, and the whole thing should go inside, and this has to run every time, and that's the reason we don't have any dependency array. Okay, so we have event here, and I'm going to simply call in use event, and what is the handler? So it's gonna be okay, so okay, key down. Yeah, I forgot the name. Is it gonna be okay, so we have key down, and what is the function? So we don't have a function yet, but at the moment I'll just have alert hello, right? Perfect. So if I handle key down, it's not a function because we haven't, oh, we don't have a button here. Perfect. So if I press something, is on the keyboard is gonna say hello, right? Now we want to make more sense out of it. So what we do here is that inside of our board we create a function which is going to handle the transition of this particular tile, right? So in order to do that, I'll have a constant handle key down, and in this constant handle key down, first of all I'll check if board dot has 1. If we have 1, we should not move the board at all, right? So it should return. If I hate these things because they kind of block the view. Okay, so if the event, we got to pass an event here, so event dot key down, not key down, but key code is greater than or equal to 37, and event dot key code is less than or equal to 40. What we do here is that we simply take the direction, let direction equals to event dot key code minus 37, so it's going to give us 0, 1, 2 or 3. And what we do next is we simply do a clone. So here, in order to do a clone of array of objects, we got to do something different. So clone class JavaScript, and I think I saw it before, so we should be easily getting it. And there you go, here it is. We'll do a block clone or board clone, and we'll say, oh shit, I told you this thing, I hate it, the autocorrect. Okay, board, that's it, because this is the entity which I want to take a clone of, right? That's the reason we are doing it. Let new board equals to board clone, and I'll have move on board clone dot move direction and set board to new board. First of all, let's see if things are working. After that, we'll discuss about what exactly happened here. So here we have our board. It won't be doing, it will be doing hello. It's not gonna stop doing hello, but let's go ahead and instead of this, let's go ahead and pass in handle key down. Okay, it was used before it was defined. Yes, my bad. And I'm just going to have it here. Perfect. So I'll try to play around with the keys. Right, I made a right and it made a mistake there. I went to top. It's okay. Again, we went to top and it made a mistake. Okay, so it kind of looks that the board is moving right now, but we need to make sure it moves in the right direction. Okay. So the thing is that we saw that there was a buggy behavior that when I click on, right now I'm clicking left and it shows something different, and the reason was that I forgot to change the row to column here. So column from tile from column to column. Okay, so there was a small issue there, and now if I press right, oops, column, COL, typo again, sorry. Okay, so if I go up, it's going to go up. If I go left, it's going to go left and nicely create another tile. If I go right, nice. If I go up, perfect. So everything, this board is looking good to me right now. Now, what we need to do here is that we need to have a score on top of it, right? So, and also, let's say I'm tired of playing this game. I just want to reset. So in order to do that, I'll have div, I'll have some blocks on top of it, which is going to allow me to have these things. So first of all, let's go into the main and see what's the name of it. So score header score box. So is that the name which I used? I think that's terrible names. Okay. Yeah, it seems like that's the name which I've used, but okay. Okay, let's go ahead with oh no, this is the one, details box. So that's not too terrible. Okay. All right, so I'm going to create just name it class name detail box, and here I want two things, right? So one is, what was the name? Okay, reset game. I kind of keep forgetting this. It's almost like 4 a.m. in the morning. All right, so score is going to be here. You know what, the best part here is that we do have a score right now. So if you want to see a board dot score, you can see it. So there you go. So if I go right, it's going to keep adding it. So that's the beauty of this particular class component, that we have it everything in more real time. Okay, reset game, it doesn't do anything right now, but before we make it more beautiful, let's make functionality of it. You know what, let's make it more beautiful first, and then we'll, because I don't like this crappy looking text. So reset, or I should just simply say new game. Class name will be reset game. Okay, let's see what happens. We have, what is the name of it? Reset button, my bad. Reset button. Perfect, it doesn't look too bad. It looks good to me. Okay, so let's take care of the score board. So first of all, create another div, which is going to be another div inside here, which will have the score title, and here we'll have the score. So board dot score, and here we'll just have a all caps score. And I'll just remove this one and I'll start giving class names to it. Okay, so let's see, score header and score box. Those are the two titles, classes we need to assign. So class name score box, class name score title. Perfect. So let's see how it looks. Perfect. So this is something which we are looking for. I think the score title, it didn't pick up the right style. So okay, it's header. It's not score title, it's score header. So I'll just change it to score header, and this should look good now. Okay, perfect. So now this is having the same look and feel what we are expecting it to do, and the score is going to keep updating. Perfect. So it's in the middle and we have everything. Now the thing is that we want to have a new game to be working, right? So in order to have new game working, we just need to reassign the board, right? So constant reset game. What exactly should be here is just going to be, it's extremely simple. So new board, and that's it. Reset game is going to go here, right? So on click and reset game. Let's see. I click on new game. There you go. We have a new nice looking board and everything works perfect, right? Again, if I press new game, Everything is new here. Awesome. So let's look at other things which we need. So let's say in a scenario when you lose, right? And when we lose, what do we want to show on the screen? We want to show a nice looking game over, right? So first of all, let me reach to that stage. And I think at this moment, nothing is going to happen. I don't know why this thing keeps going, but perfect. So this is a stage when it's stagnant, right? But let me show you one more thing. I'll show you that json.stringify and board dot has lost. Let's see what is here. True, right? If I reset, it's false, and at one stage it's going to come to true. So what we need to do here is that in case if we have a has lost, board dot has lost, we don't want to show this board. Instead of this board, we would like to show a nice looking game over. So that's what we are going to take care of. Now in order to determine if the game is won or lost, we need to have a overlay. So something on top of it which is going to tell the user that this game is over or you have won the game. So let's take care of it. So in the component, I'll be creating a new component which is called game overlay.js. In this game overlay, the same thing, React arrow, functional component export, game overlay, the same thing. Here we will be having two props. So on restart, in order to restart a game, and the board prop. Inside of the board prop, we check if board dot has won. If we have won, just display the winning message. Else if board dot has lost, display the losing message, and in any other scenario we simply want to display null. We don't really care what's there, so we'll just display null. Return in case we won, div, and class name will be, we want to display the tile, the big tile, so it's going to be this in case we won. In case there's a game over, we want to display this, and there will be a try again button which will be at the bottom. Okay, so let's do tile 2048 here. In the other scenario, if we have lost it, so it's supposed to have game over. Let's see how exactly things go. First of all, inside of the, let's just simply display, I don't care, I'll just display this div. Okay, so inside of the board, where do we need to place it? We simply can place it here, games overlay, and on restart it's just going to be reset game. It's not the best variable name, but still it does a thing which we wanted to do. And board is going to be board. Perfect. So if we go, oh, there we go. So we have a name which is game over. One thing I want is a button at the bottom. So in order to have a button, I'll just simply have to go inside my game over, image, src. One thing you need to make sure when we are importing, we have to take it as a variable. So try again logo from assets image try again .gif, and here I'll do the same thing. So try again logo, try again style. You need to make sure there has to be style here. First of all, I'm going to save it, and now we'll add style. So width 100%, height 100%, and in order to make it look more legit, we'll have cursor pointer. Okay, so this is the same thing that should be displayed here, so I'm just simply going to replace it, and let's see how it works. Perfect, there you go. So it's looking more like a button, and if I click on this, the game should start working. So in order to have it, I'll just have on click restart. Let's see if this thing can make things make things happen. So it has to be here as well. So perfect. It's a try again. Click on it. Oh, that thing should be happening there, but we are not seeing it because of we don't have a null there. So in this case, let's see. The reason why you saw that underline is because we were so quick that we didn't give it a time for delay. So you don't need to panic there. If you do something extremely fast, this is what is going to happen. So in order to handle it, tell me what do you think is the solution to it? I have an idea, but tell me what you have a solution. Okay, game over, try again. If I click here, it should start all over again. So this is looking beautiful, right? So let me know in the comment section, do you like the design? Of course the design is beautiful, but what changes can we make here? Okay, so what is the next step? First of all, one more thing which is remaining is to test the tile 2048. So let's test it out. Perfect. So in case ever if you win this game, it's going to look something like this. So if you reach 2048, it's going to have a nice bouncy 2048. So perfect. In my opinion, I think we covered everything to create this particular game. So first of all, let's go ahead, and in the next video we'll go ahead and deploy this project so you can give it to your friends to use it and play around with it. Okay, so I'll see you in just a bit. Okay, so now we are just simply going to deploy this, not destroy, deploy this project. So we'll be deploying it on Netlify. If you not have heard of it, Netlify is a host where you can deploy for free, of course with a limited bandwidth, but yes, you can deploy things. So I already have a few projects deployed there. This is something which we saw in the beginning without animation. So in this one, I'll need to create a repository for GitHub, because when we deploy it, it's going to have a new site from Git and whatever it takes. So I'm going to create a new repository which is called 2048 animated, right? And that's what I need at the moment. I don't need anything from here. I'll just simply create a public repository, and I'll have to follow these steps, right? So first of all, let me add everything. Git add, git commit, first commit. Okay, what else? I'll have to simply copy from here. Okay, git branch, and I'll just simply do a git push to main. There you go, our project is deploying to GitHub. And just because my GitHub has been linked to Netlify, I can easily deploy it. So let's go ahead and check. which project I want to deploy. It's 2048 animated, and the main branch is something which I would like to deploy. Yarn build, yes, you can do it. Perfect. So all I need to do is deploy site, and it's deploying. It might take some time. Let's see. I guess it's building in the background and then it's deploying. So there you go. We have our site deployed, and if someone want to play with it, they can simply go ahead and play it. So what if we do some checking here? Oh, okay, but this is still gonna stay here, right? So let me change my domain name to something, edit site name 2048. So we won't get it, right? So animated, let's try this. This is something which we'll get. It's not too popular. Okay, perfect. So look at this. We have our site deployed right there. Perfect. So this is how you can deploy your site, and this is the complete project which we built. So let me know in the comment section, how do you like this project? Even comment about the teaching style, what things or what changes you want. And if you have any ideas about next projects, you can let us know in the comment section. Also, don't forget to follow us. Give it this video, if you found it fruitful, give it a like, subscribe to our channel, and also don't forget to follow us on Instagram. Till then, take care. I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Bye.